Hey there folks, my name is Michael Bertrand and this is the deal with logic. Now before we start, I have to get one thing clear. You are not a logical person. You aren't. I know this because nobody is. There's no such thing as a logical person. There are logical methods. There are logical approaches to a solution. There's even logical reasoning. But logic provides no motives. Motives are inherently an emotion. They're an emotional reason why you did something. And if you follow the tree of reasoning up to its roots, you always hit an emotion. You can start off with, why did person X do action Y? And you can follow a long chain of logical reasons, but at the top it's always essentially because they wanted to. Because that would secure pleasure or avoid pain. And those are emotional reasons. This is just how it works. Without emotion, we have no reason to do anything. And that brings me to Mr. Spock. Now, I love Mr. Spock as much as any nerd. But there's a thing you've got to know about Mr. Spock and all his Vulcan pals is, well, they're full of crap. When they talk about acting out of pure logic and conquering emotion and all that jive, they are talking out of their, no doubt, anatomically unique asses. Because they are clearly emotional. In fact, if they weren't, they'd just sit there. They have all kinds of emotions. For one thing, they can be very sarcastic, or at least Mr. Spock can. For another thing, they do things like pursue the common good. And there's no reason for that unless you have an emotional preference for people doing well. Ethics also is essentially rooted in emotion. There is no logical reason to prefer that people live rather than die, that they thrive rather than perish, that they are happy rather than sad. Pure logic, there's really no reason. We have a preference because we're human beings and we have emotions and we want good things for ourselves, and we're a social species, so we also want good things for the rest of us. But logically speaking, meh. Logic really doesn't give you value judgments. It doesn't say whether something is morally good or bad. It simply says whether it's true or not. You have to add the moral, emotional element in order for logic to do anything. There's a lot of my fellow nerds going around with the delusion that they are somehow logical people. Like that somehow they are logical when the rest of humanity is a bunch of fumbling, emotional children squalling in the dark. But it's just not true. In fact, the delusion that you are logical can actually drive you insane, because it means that you are bound by your rationalizations to an extent that people with a more balanced emotional system are not. You use the idea that you are logical to dodge responsibility for your emotions, always claiming you are acting out of just pure logic when any idiot should be able to see that you acted out of anger or irritation or whatever. And if you go around convincing others and yourself that you are logical, you will never, ever truly understand what's going on in your head. You will just end up going around in circles trying to figure out the logical reason for purely emotional feelings, purely emotional acts. So if you're one of those sad people who thinks that they're logical, I mean this in all sincerity, give that shit up right now, because you'll be so much better off without it. Let yourself be human. Let yourself have emotions. Acknowledge that you can be petty or confused or irrational or the same humanity that the rest of us all share. And once you accept your own humanity, you will find it is much easier to accept the humanity of others and to actually connect with them on an emotional level, and you will be a much happier, saner human being. You will be behaving like the human being you are, not like the Vulcan that you aren't, and that we're full of crap anyway. Get over the logic thing, folks. It may offer a lot of short-term benefits, but in the long term, by thinking that you're saner than everybody else, you'll just drive yourself crazy. That's my thought for today, folks. Talk to you later.